you cool cats and fine felines? It's Leah and
Lynn.
And today we are in Forest Lawn Memorial Gardens in Nashville, Tennessee, and we're gonna see some famous graves. So just follow us. And Lynn, what are we gonna do?
Get into the groove.
Yeah.
The respectable groove.
The respectable groove. So if you want to find them, take a left.
The second left.
The second left into the cemetery, and you'll see this little sign that says Music Row. And you walk right over here, and then right here is Lefty Frizzell.
He was one of the most influential country music vocalist stylists of all time. He had been influenced people like George Jones and Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson. He was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 1982. In his prime, Frizzell was one of the first artists to achieve 4 songs in the top 10 country music Billboard at one time.
Wow.
But he had many songs that charted in the top 10, but that was a very outstanding deed to have 4 top 10 songs at one time. And he passed away at the age of 47, unfortunately, due to alcoholism.
He had a stroke. That's awfully young.
Very young.
Merle Haggard said the impact that Lefty had left on country music is not even measurable. No one could handle a song like Lefty. He would hold on to each word until he finally decided to drop it and pick up the next one. Most of us learn to sing listening to him. Merle Haggard said that. Roy Orbison was a devout fan. He chose the name Lefty Wilbury whenever he was in the Traveling Wilburys to honor his music hero. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Unfortunately, Frizzell began a downward spiral after developing an alcohol problem. And despite of his history of infidelity, arrests, all kinds of other legal trouble and car crashes, he was the lady that he was married to, Miss Alice Harper, she stayed with him through all of that. They had 3 kids together.
And she's buried right here next to him. She died in 1984.
In 1972, he left Columbia Records and went to ABC Records. And he was in that same year, he went to the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. And he won a Grammy. No, it earned him a Grammy Hall of Fame award that year as well. But unfortunately, by this time, he had already pretty much drank himself to death, and he had developed chronic hypertension. He looked bad, and it really affected his voice.
That's terrible.
And then, unfortunately, on July 19th, 1975, he passed away at 47 years old.
47. Rest in peace, Lefty Frizzell.
Your influence was
Vast,
far and wide. Yeah, most of all country music is country music because of you.
If you walk right up here, you have Harold Hawkshaw Hawkins, which, he died in a plane crash with Patsy Cline, Cowboy Copas, and Randy Hughes in 1963. He has a little horsey and a little guitar on his grave.
Hawkshaw Hawkins, who was born in December 22nd in 1921, he was known for smooth, rich vocals from like blues and honky tonk. But what stood out about him, he was 6 foot 5 inches tall, and he was very imposing on stage, and he dressed very conservatively for most country music singers at that time.
No nudie suits.
No nudie suits for him. But he was a member of the Grand Ole Opry, and he also was married to Gene Shepard.
We've been to the crash site where the plane went down. It's really, really
quiet.
It's kind of,
like
it's
somber.
eerie,
Yeah.
yes. And there's a point where it says no more talking, and you walk out in the woods, and there's a stone with all 4 of their names on it. And we plan on going back and making another video, but it's out in the middle of nowhere. 2 of the other members of the crash site are buried here. Cowboy Copas and Randy Hughes, we're going to walk over there. They're buried close to each other. But we'll walk over there and show you that now. Rest in peace, Hawkshaw Hawkins.
Rest in peace.
Here we are at Ramsey Hughes' grave. He's buried right next to Cowboy Copas. And he was known by his friends as Randy Hughes, but his grave says Ramsey Hughes.
Yeah. Everyone called him Randy.
He was married to Cowboy Copas' daughter, Kathy, which is why they're buried right here next to each other. Plus, I mean, they died in the same plane crash. Randy was actually flying the plane. And he managed a lot of country stars, and he actually got a plane and got his license so he could fly them around to different gigs.
Yeah. He continued to fly even after receiving bad weather advisories. He had phoned his wife in Tennessee, learning that the storm had passed, but his flight plan was to hop from one little airport to another one, and the storms in the area were just too bad, and he took off.
It's right there, yeah. All right.
Right beside of Cowboy Copas, he was born on July 15th of 1913, and he died on that plane crash.
In 1963.
He was popular until his death in a plane crash in 1960.
In 1943, Copas achieved national fame when he replaced Eddie Arnold as vocalist in the Pee Wee King Band. He began performing in the Grand Ole Opry. His first solo single, Filipino Baby, released by King Records in 1946, hit number 4 on the Billboard Country chart and sparked the most successful period of his career. While continuing to appear in the Opry, Copas recorded several other hits during the late 40s and early 50s. And he did Candy Kisses, The Tennessee Waltz, Signed, Sealed, and Delivered, Tennessee Moon, among others. I mean, he had so many songs that hit the charts in the 50s and 40s, but none of them went as high as the Filipino Baby. He didn't maintain his popularity of the late 1940s through the next decade. He continued to perform regularly on the Grand Ole Opry and appeared on ABC TV's Ozark Jubilee. After a lackluster partnership with Dot Records, Copas surged to the top of the charts again in 1960 with his biggest hit of his career, Alabama. It remained number 1 for 3 months, so it outdid his little Filipino Baby. So he got one more. He got his biggest hit right before he died in 63. So we are super, super proud that we got to be here today and bring you along with us. So this concludes our little tour of Forest Lawn Memorial Cemetery. We got to see 4 legends' graves today. So glad that you came with us. So Lynn, what do you think our viewers should do?
If you like that video, hit that like button. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. That would really help us out.
Yeah, and you can also hit the notification bell so whenever we upload new content, you'll know. And we do every week. And so, what do you think now? I mean, for now,
Stay groovy.
Yeah,
Ooh, the beast.